Yo, what it do? Shout out to all the truckers out there that's keeping things moving. Without y'all, the country would fall apart. Why? Because everything comes, the final, whether it comes from a ship, a plane, or a train. What you must understand, and a lot of people don't realize this, even I didn't, I didn't think on it. I may have known it, but I didn't really ponder on it until I got into the industry. But in the grand scheme of things, everything that you have on right now, whether it's your clothing, your jewelry, the phone that I hold, that you hold, the laptop, the foods that you eat, it got there by a truck, meaning that it wasn't able to get to its final destination unless it was delivered by a truck. And without that, as of right now, because I know they're trying to get rid of the trucker and go to automation and self-driving trucks, which from the looks of it, it'll look like it's going to be a long way away. But yeah, so shout out to all y'all. And so this video is going to be about when I'm asked, do I like trucking? And I had to go back into trucking. I know you might see some of my past videos, and you might see me talking about Uber, and pretty much my account was deactivated. That's another story for another day. Just know that Uber doesn't care about its drivers. The customer is always right, even when they're wrong. So when I'm asked that question, hey, do you like trucking? And sometimes I'm often asked that by people that see me get out of the truck. But other times I'm asked that by, let's say, if I'm delivering a load or the shipper. But the other day in particular, I was delivering a load, and I was asked by an individual that was responsible for unloading my truck. He said, hey, do you like trucking? And I feel like you have to be honest, right? If you can't be honest with yourself, then who can you be honest with? So when he asked me that question, hey, do you like trucking? And my response, it may have shocked him. Now, he was, this was at a Walmart, and he was unloading the truck. And, maybe he likes his profession. I don't know. But for me, when he asked me that question, I said, okay, I can give you the non-controversial answer, or I can give you the truth. I can give you the truth of the matter of the fact. And I decided to go with the truth, because if you can't be true to yourself, then who can you be true to? So I said, very flatly, no. Now, I didn't elaborate because, he was busy. We had to unload the truck, and that was under, time constraints. I could have elaborated on it, but I just said no. Then I kind of ranted and complained a little bit about how the present company is doing me, and a part of it that makes it unfavorable is how I'm being treated by this present company in terms of pay and in terms of the loads and the routes that they So a part of that contributed to that answer. But another part of that is that for me, I mean, I know you'll hear truckers, you'll watch other videos and say, well, I love trucking because, I get to see the world and I get paid. You get to see the world. You just get to see the U.S. So when you say you get to see the world, you're not going on a truck from North America to South America to Asia to Australia to Europe to Africa. You're not to Antarctica. If I missed anyone, let me know. But you're not doing that. You're seeing the continental U.S. and you're not even going to all. You're doing the 48. If you're OTR, you're doing the 48, and you're doing. Yeah, you might go to Canada if you got that special permit, but pretty much most OTRs doing the 48. So when you say, oh well, I like it because I get to see the world. Are you really seeing the world? You're seeing the U.S. And in terms of that, in my experience, when you have a 53-foot trailer behind you, it's very hard for you to maneuver, and you're on time constraints. Because most, if you're in the industry, you don't just get to go when you want to go. Even if you're an owner operator, you have time constraints. But if you're a company driver, you most definitely have time constraints. You have appointments and deadlines that you have to meet, and your clock that you had to adhere to. You're 11 and you're 14 and you're 70. So when you get to drive through places, but guess what? Trucks are restricted. Not like a vehicle, like a car, you can go anywhere pretty much. Trucks are restricted in where we can go. And even if you're driving through some nice places, you can't get out and experience it like a person in a car can. Like they can just pull over and say, hey, let's go experience this ancient, library. It's very difficult. You may be able to make it work here and there, but for the most part, it's very difficult. One of the main problems is the space. Like you may want to go park somewhere and they say, oh, no trucks allowed. No semis allowed, no over 5 tons, or you can't find parking. So that's another thing. Like, okay, you can drive through places, and you may be able to see this and see that, but can you really get out and experience it? For the most part, if you in this industry, no, you can't. You all the places that you may want to experience, you may get to experience some places on your 34 reset and your 10-hour, but for the most part, it's a lot of places that you're not going to be able to experience because you either don't have the space, the spacing requirements for parking, or the time constraints. And for me, I've already seen not just the U.S., but the world. I've been to every continent without being in the military, because that's another thing. Military guys, they travel, but oftentimes they're on the base. So they're not really getting that real organic, authentic experience. I have on my own fruition with my own funding, my own trips. I've got to experience these things. I've got to see the world. I got to live in the villages and experience what it feels like to live like a local and really get, tapped in with the people, right? I got to do that. So for me, and I've got to see the U.S. just driving, moving. Like I've got to see for the most part, it's a lot of states that I'm getting to see now. These small, Midwest states and, these boom town, whatever, I get to see a lot of these rural areas more so than before I did this. But I've seen a lot of the U.S. already without the trucking. So, but I would say, hey, some guys, hey, that's enough. The fact that they get out and they get to, drive and see these different areas, just seeing them, not really experiencing them. Hey, that may be good for you. But for me, no. So that's why, not to get too far off the video, but for me, that doesn't make me, say, okay, I enjoy this trucking. That's point number one. Point number two is you're not on your own time. You're not on your own time. And this is what I would explain to this guy, the Walmart guy that was unloading my truck, if I had the time. You're not on your own time. You have to adhere to a dispatcher or your trucking manager, your terminal manager, or whatever. And they're, depending on the type of manager you have, some are always on your ass. Hey, why are you a minute over your 10? You supposed to be up and rolling again. Or, oh, you took too long. Why are you going so slow? This type of, you have to deal with that because you're not on your own time. You're on their time. And that, for me, and I mean, that for me is a problem in context, right? Because let's say if I was working a regular 9 to 5, and let's say my schedule was the morning, right? Whether it's an office job or whether it's a blue collar job, whatever it may be, I would be able to say, okay, this is my schedule, 9 to 5. Let me schedule this around whatever I want to do, my activities. I'm going to schedule it around my time so it could fit to what I want to do. In trucking, you can't do that, right? Because you are operating off of a clock that fluctuates depending on when you start, and you're operating off of appointments, right? So you can't really ever get, especially in your OTR. I'm not talking about local, but in OTR, you can't really structure things, right? It's very, very hard, right? And so you're constantly on someone else's time, right? Because you may start at 6 or 7 in the morning. Okay, you run for that 11 hours, and then you shut down, right? Well, you shutting down at 6, or let's say around 5. Now, you may have to get up. You got to get up 10 hours later. Most companies going to say, okay, I want you to start. If you're not on your 34-hour reset, you got to start 10 hours from that period. So what's 10 hours? That's like 3 or 4 in the morning that you got to start. And it's like every day the time is being pushed back more. So you never have any stability. You can't really schedule anything. You can't really get in a routine because your times are constantly changing. Different from a 9 to 5. You can kind of have a routine, but this you can't. So you're not really on your own time for the simple fact that you can't have a routine, right? That's another thing that I don't enjoy, right? And then the routes, the pay, and then just the truck driver's lifestyle, living out of truck stops and eating, and having to, sometimes you go into these rural ass areas and you can't find a truck stop around. So you just got to shut down wherever you can shut down at. And because you shut down in some rural area with no truck stop for 100 miles away, you may not be able to take a shower. So now you've been working all day, sweating. If it's hot in the summer, your balls is musty and all that stuff. Your cooch is musty if you're a female, and you can't wash your ass. So you just got to go to sleep funky. And you may not be able to wash your ass for another 2 days because you got to run this load because you got an appointment, right? That for me is not what I want. This is not what, for me, the type of lifestyle that I want to live. For me, and not to get too far off because I don't want you guys to say, what is this guy's just rambling. And I am rambling a little ranting. But for me, those are the points that when somebody asks me, like the guy asked me yesterday, do you like trucking? That is why. These are the points that I'm raising. And for me, it's not a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? It's no stability in it. For me, it's not a lifestyle that offers stability. You can't really, you can't, and the trucking industry is hurting right now, if you know. You can't really have a routine, especially if you OTR. And yeah, man, and then you got to operate on somebody else's time. So that is for me personally, why I don't like trucking in general. Now, someone else, like another guy, like I said, he may enjoy it. He may like the fact that he gets to travel and just look at sights. He may like the fact that he gets to live in the truck with his dog or whatever, he or her, and travel with his or her significant other. They may like eating that unhealthy foods at the truck stops and showering every other day or every 3 days when they get an opportunity. They may like the constant, running at different times of the day. And they may like to pay, if they're lucky, if they're fortunate to have either good loads, or they're a company driver, the company is paying them good cents per mile, or they're fortunate to get good dollars per mile, whatever that may be. Yeah, they may, it may be a good situation for them because they like that. They may not like working out, so hitting the gym don't matter for them. They don't mind. I see a lot of fat ass truck drivers, and they seem to be fat, happy and jolly, drinking they 10-gallon sodas and eating they hot dogs and chips, and they enjoy that shit, being fat and sloppy, But for me, I like to stay in shape. I like to be healthy, but they may like that. So that is for me why I, in general, don't like trucking. And I'll leave this last point because it's another reason why I don't like trucking. Because I envision doing something else with my life. I went to school. I fed into this what was supposed to be the key to the American dream: going to school, getting a good education, getting your degree, so you can get the house with the white picket fence and the job. I fed into that 100%, and I did that. I went to school, got the degree so I can get the good job and all that shit, and the shit didn't pan out for me. So why I am trucking, and specifically in my situation, why I'm trucking, is because of economic necessity. I have an economic necessity where I wasn't able to find a job that I wanted, that was conducive for what I wanted to do. So I had to make a decision. Hey, I got bills to pay, mouths to feed. I need to do something. What can I do? What can I do right now, right this moment? And so I decided, hey, I don't know how it came to me, but I was driving down the street and I seen a truck or whatever. I said, how about I just drive these trucks? It's a low barrier to entry. All you got to do is go to the truck driving school, pass the test, bam, you get your CDL, you can start driving trucks. So for me, trucking was an economic necessity. It wasn't something that I wanted to do. It's something that I had to do because I had bills to pay and mouths to feed in this capitalistic society. But some people choose, and I have qualifications that would put me in line to do other things. But I had to do trucking because, hey man, it is what it is. It is what it is. Peace.